Hello, I am Marissa Ford, and I am applying for your registered dietitian position for your company, and I will be answering the questions that you asked me via email. The first one was what I thought about tracking calories, and I'm kind of for it and against it. It really just depends on the person. So like someone that is very number focused and doesn't get hyper fixated on tracking calories every minute, I think this would be very beneficial for them. And some people just like to have structure and like to see things laid out for them. So especially with like sports nutrition, I think it's very important to provide the amount of calories or macronutrients that someone might need to help them reach their goals. That can backfire sometimes on people. Like I said, they get too fixated on calorie counting and macronutrients. So when you tell them, this is how much protein that we recommend you have a day, people get very fixated on that and they start getting very obsessive about it. But it's very important to assess this with your clients before you give them an exact calorie amount or exact macronutrient amount. So you just really need to be individualizing your care plans. I actually happen to be one of those people that really fixated on calories and macronutrients. So personally, I do not do that. I do more of like an intuitive eating aspect of things because I did actually develop disordered eating doing that. But I think that's a really good strength to have because now I can kind of tell if someone's going to be too fixated on those calories and macronutrients to where I can give them more of like a generalized plan to help them meet their goals without being obsessive and mentally stressed about the amount of food they're eating every day. The next question was biggest nutrition myths I've heard, which I've heard everything and then some about just crazy nutrition myths. But I think the couple that I've heard the most are to do with fasting and keto and how those help with weight loss and fat loss and help your performance overall when it comes to exercising. And people say they have more energy and things like that. I would say with keto, for one, it's a really, really low to no carb diet. And so that kind of defeats the purpose when it comes to fueling yourself because carbohydrates are our main source of fuel for both our brain and our bodies. It's what gives us energy throughout the day. And so when you take that away, your body actually starts breaking down muscle for fuel to begin with. And that's where you start seeing the weight loss as well, because when your body's breaking down that muscle, you're actually releasing water as well. So that's how people see such a dramatic weight loss at first. The one thing is our bodies are very smart, so they're going to catch on to what we're doing. And yes, as it does burn fat for fuel in the end, you aren't actually losing any fat. You're just burning it because that's all you're providing your body for fuel. So that is the kind of concept of keto. And so that's why it's gotten such a big hit, is because people are seeing all this weight loss when really it's just you losing muscle mass because your body is breaking down that muscle for fuel since you aren't providing yourself with carbohydrates. I do think also with keto, it's very unsustainable, especially if you are a social person and like to go to social events. Odds are you're going to be at a place that's going to provide a lot of carb rich foods. So I think it's just important to educate patients or clients on, what to do in those situations and how to rather than just completely cut out carbs, maybe just focus on portion sizes. And also too, to just enjoy your life. I feel like with keto, you are restricting, and that can sometimes take a toll on you mentally when really you only have one life to live. It's okay to eat those foods in moderation and to enjoy those foods. Really quick, just on the fasting, I'm a really big advocate on listening to your hunger cues and knowing when you're hungry. And I feel like with intermittent fasting, you are not really listening to those hunger cues, and you're kind of like trying to train your body on when to eat, which is not, your body doesn't have a time clock. It doesn't just punch out and punch back in. It's constantly working and needs fuel to help work. So when you're fasting, you aren't really listening to those hunger cues and when your body needs that fuel. The next question was my fitness routine. I used to have a pretty strict fitness routine back when I was doing bodybuilding competitions. And it almost got to the point where I just didn't enjoy fitness anymore or exercising. And so now that I'm kind of out of that, out of doing like the bodybuilding stuff, I've really focused on just moving my body and knowing that movement helps relieve my stress, my anxiety that sometimes gets built up if I don't exercise or get any movement in. And so I really try to just focus on getting some sort of movement in about 6 days a week. And I like to do all sorts of different exercising regimens, like a mix between like CrossFit and weightlifting, also cardio. So I just try to get some sort of movement in 30 to 45 minutes a day, about 6 days a week is usually my routine. But I just try to make it a little bit more lax. I'm not super strict on myself. So if I miss a day or two during the week, I don't get stressed about it anymore, because life happens and you get very busy with life. And so I just try to do it because I enjoy it and know that it makes me feel good and know that it is good for me and my body, rather than just thinking of like exercising and fitness as a chore. And then the last question was, what is my guilty pleasure? Currently, we just bought a house. As you can see, there's like nothing anywhere, and pardon my dog. But yeah, so we just bought a house, and so my guilty pleasure is literally just adding a bunch of home good stuff to my shopping cart on Amazon, but not purchasing any of it. So it's kind of like my little dream cart. Yeah, so that would be probably my guilty pleasure right now. But thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and I look forward to hearing from you very soon.